Hello, everybody, and welcome to Getting Started with Google Chrome for Small Business. Today's Web and Beyond webinar is a topic that is near and dear to my heart, and so I'm really looking forward to this. This is part of our Marketing and Managing Your Small Business on the Web and Beyond series, which is the Web and Beyond series itself. And so Getting Started with Google Chrome for Small Business is being presented today by me. I'm Ray Sidney Smith, and I am the president of W3 Consulting and the managing director of W3C Web Services. So W3 Consulting is actually a digital marketing consultancy, and we're a little bit different than most marketing consultancies in the sense that we actually help develop strategy and training small businesses about how to market and manage their businesses using web, mobile, and social technologies. And so we're more of a training company matched with the marketing technology. And then we're, of course, in one of our subsidiaries, which is Web Services, W3C Web Services, which is our web hosting, domain name registration services, and otherwise that provides affordable WordPress and web hosting, VPS, domain name registration, SSL certificates, you name it, in that category. We also provide Microsoft 365 licenses and Google Workspace licenses and implementation and that kind of stuff for small business. So I am also an Evernote certified consultant, and I am one of the Evernote regional leaders for North America. And so if you know what Evernote is, I am a huge fan of Evernote. But I also happen to be, and most pertinent to today's discussion, I am one of the Google Small Business Advisors, and so I help the Google Small Business team as an advisor for productivity and helping teach small businesses about the products and services that Google has that are catered and tailored for small business. And very pertinent to today is I am actually one of the Google Chrome product experts. And so Google Chrome product experts are basically volunteers who help in the Google community help forums for people who are using Google Chrome and are having some issues with Google Chrome and need some help getting around Chrome. So if you ever have an issue, I will walk you through later today how to actually get there and get help from the Google Chrome product experts. And so I happen to be one of those. Today's agenda is pretty simple. We're going to talk about how to download and install Google Chrome. I'm going to talk a little bit about background on Google Chrome and connecting it, of course, to Google Workspace, which now everybody has access to, in essence, since Google's recent announcement. But Google Workspace is going to be this omnibus platform in which everybody works inside of Google's ecosystem, whether that be in Gmail, Google Chat, Google Chrome, Google Calendar, or otherwise. You're really working inside of this ecosystem, which is known as Google Workspace. We're then going to talk about how to navigate Chrome and its settings. There are so many pieces to Google Chrome, so I won't be able to cover everything, but I will do an overview of the major components there so you can see how you can really ultimately be productive in your business utilizing Google Chrome. And we'll talk about some of the tips and tricks through the extensions that you can install within Google Chrome to be more productive in your business. So I'm very excited because this is a big topic and I love Google Chrome. So let's start off with some basic pieces about Google Chrome. Google Chrome manages 2.65 billion internet users. So they have this huge swath of the industry. They are a platform, in essence, for other applications called extensions. And they have roughly about 140,000 extensions that are within the Google Chrome marketplace, and we'll talk about that in a bit as well. But Google Chrome itself is actually founded on top of a platform called Chromium. And the Chromium project, if you go to chromium.org, you would actually find the Chromium project, and it actually runs a whole suite of other browsers that you may know of. So if you think about Microsoft Edge runs on Chromium. Opera, Vivaldi, many of these other platforms, Brave. If you think about all of the other major browsers in the market, the only two real outliers here are Apple Safari as well as Firefox, Mozilla Firefox. And so all of the other ones pretty much in the market are dominated by Chromium. Chromium itself is a web browser, and then we have Chromium OS. And Chromium OS is an operating system that is basically part of the Chromium project as well. It's kind of like browser plus operating system bound together. And Google, of course, produces Google Chrome on top of the Chromium project. And so what you're seeing is branded as being Google Chrome is actually an open source project among many different companies that provide you the stability of a platform like Google Chrome. Google Chrome comes in multiple versions, and I like to let everybody know about that. In essence, we have Chrome, which is our stable release that comes out, and Google Chrome is the version you should really be running. Okay. Now, if you are really adventurous, you could actually install the beta version of Google Chrome. This is the version that people put out when they feel like most of the bugs are out of it. Most of the features that are going to be coming out in the next release are placed in this version. And so that's what we call Chrome Beta. You can actually run Chrome and Chrome Beta side by side. And then we have two more versions of Google Chrome. And so we have Dev, which is really based for developers. And so it allows them to be able to, play with the various pieces of Google Chrome, say if they're a software developer or platform developer and they want to be able to utilize Chrome in a development environment. And then we have Google Chrome Canary. Google Chrome Canary are really the nightly builds. This is the bleeding edge of Google Chrome, and I do not suggest you install Chrome Canary unless you are really, really technically savvy. But what I find is that people inevitably find Chrome and then they accidentally install one of these other versions. There's 4 versions now that you can install, and they install one of those and maybe something's not quite working, and it's probably because you don't have the stable build. So just make sure that if you're installing Google Chrome, you're doing so with Chrome proper, the stable release, which currently we're at 91. So it should say 91 dot and some number. And not one of the ones that says Chrome Beta, and the logo will say Beta, and the Dev will say Dev in the logo, and the Canary will be a completely different logo there as well. So Google Chrome is the one we're talking about. We're currently at Chrome 91, version 91, probably 0.4 or something like that. And the release cycle for that is that they update Google Chrome as well as Chrome OS every 6 weeks currently. Soon, starting in Q3 of this year, so at the time of this recording, we're doing this in Q2. And so the idea is in Q3, we are going to be moving into a 4-week update cycle. That means that you will start to see Google Chrome starting to push more updates pretty much every 4 weeks. This is very important and powerful for businesses. Think about this. You have a free browser coming from an open source platform that is releasing security, stability, and new feature updates every 4 weeks. This is really important because it now cleans up and shores up for Microsoft Edge, Google Chrome, Vivaldi, Opera, Brave. All of the major browsers in the world are not all of them, because Apple Safari and Mozilla Firefox, but they're really setting the standard for being able to release new features, stability updates, and bug fixes and security fixes to make Chrome a great experience for users in the planet. And speaking of which, Google dominates the web with Chrome. As you can see here, it manages roughly about 60% of the global market share of browsers. So Google Chrome is the dominant browser. It's basically the gateway to the web for 60% of the planet, which is just remarkable. You can see here from statcounter.com that the global stats show that Google Chrome covers roughly 60% of the market at any given time. The next challenger globally is Apple. Apple is that next line down here, and they're roughly hovering around the 16%, 17% mark at any given time. So as you can see, Google Chrome just really dominates on the web here. But when we actually laser focus down into the United States, Google Chrome actually commands in the United States. It really still does command. It's almost nearly 50% of the market share of web browsing. But you can see that number for Apple is much higher in the United States. So we know that people are either overlapping, that is, people are using multiple browsers for their web browsing in the United States, because those numbers are way too high for there not to be overlap. So if you're focused on being productive with your business, you know that you and your employees are using one or both of Google Chrome and Apple Safari in your businesses and personal lives. So just keep that in mind as you think about how you should utilize Google Chrome and these various pieces of the puzzle. So Google Chrome is available on all the platforms. They have a Windows version for both 64-bit and 32-bit processors. They have a version for Mac OS. I think it's 10 plus, so anything Mac OS X and later. So it runs on all the major modern Mac operating systems. And then, of course, they also have a Linux distro. So if you are Linux geeky like I am, you can install one on your Raspberry Pi 400 and run your Google Chrome from there as well. It takes a little bit more work, but you can do it. And then, of course, there is Chrome for mobile. Chrome for mobile comes on Android and iOS as well as iPad OS. In essence, those that are running on iOS and iPadOS, they're running on a different engine. So Google Chrome runs on an engine called Blink, and the JV the V8 JavaScript engine. On iOS and iPadOS, they're using the Apple WebScript for the way in which they run their stuff. So if you're interested or know or have a reason to know that information, that's what they're running on there. For today's purposes, I will be focusing on the desktop. So I really won't be focusing on the Chrome, Android, and iOS experiences. But just note from my prior showing of browser market share, a lot of that web browsing for Apple Safari ends up being mobile. Okay, so just keep that in mind that we're really talking about mobile when we talk about market share on the Apple side. So. And obviously, a lot of people are using Google Chrome on their Androids, but I'm going to talk mostly about setting up and dealing with these functional issues of management for the business on the desktop side. Okay, so let me hop out of here and hop over to the next screen. Wonderful. Okay, so what I have here is basically the Google Chrome website. And what we're going to do is we're going to run through how to install Google Chrome from on your system. And I'm not going to cover Linux here because it's way too complicated. If you need instructions, I can send those along to you. But in essence, in order to install Chrome, it's very easy. Whatever your native operating system browser is, you're going to go to that browser and you're going to go to google.com/Chrome, CHROME, and it will take you to this page. As you can see, this system will automatically identify your operating system and will give you a download button for you to go ahead and download your Chrome for your system. It automatically identified my system here. It tells me that I'm on a Windows 10 system, and it's going to give me the 64-bit version because I have a 64-bit processor, and then it's going to automatically give me the download Chrome button. Notice here it says also I want to update Chrome. That's because Chrome literally, before we went live, pushed a Chrome update, and so I have a Chrome update waiting for me, and you'll see that when we do the demo of the settings. And so here in the system, it's showing me that I want to update, so it's giving me the option to go to the update page to do so. But if you don't have Chrome on your system, you can just click on Download Chrome, and you would do this for any of your employees as well, any of your employees' systems. They would just go to google.com/Chrome, and they would come to this page, and they'd be able to immediately download your thing from there. Okay, so very, very simple for downloading and installing Chrome. And once you are here on the Chrome website, we are then able to download the application. It will then open up when you click on it, and you'll then be able to go through the installation process. It's very simple, very easy to follow along, and once it is done with the installation of the application on Windows or Mac, you will then get an icon in your programs folder, and you'll be able to then launch the application. When you do launch the application, you will then now be taken to this screen, which is basically a new piece of the application. So on screen, you should now see basically a create a new Chrome profile window. And the Chrome profile window is a fairly new feature, and what it does is it allows you to be able to segment your world among different quote-unquote profiles. Now, for you, this will be your business use of it. So for example, I have a profile for my personal Chrome browsing, but I don't want to muddy the waters with my professional and work-based browsing. So I have a profile designed and dedicated specifically for my work from my personal. So what I can do here is I can say put a photograph of myself here, which is for business purposes. I can then type in here and put work or business. I could say business, right? And this is going to be my Chrome profile for business. Everything related to my Chrome browsing will now be incorporated into this profile, and it will be segmented from any of my personal Chrome browsing. Okay, so if you use another browser for personal, you don't need to create a Chrome profile for personal at all. You could just use Chrome for business. And a lot of people don't know that. But if you have a Google Workspace account, you can now log into your Chrome browser, and I'm going to show you that in a moment, and be able to interact and engage on that level. So what I'm doing here is I go ahead and let's pretend that I uploaded a photo here. I typed in business because this is going to be my business Chrome profile. I've chosen a theme color. Currently, you cannot choose, your own kind of colors here. It does give you a custom color option here, but you can put in different values. So like I can say hex value. So you can type in a primary hex value. I haven't seen the ability for you to go ahead and choose, like, so say I want to choose like, a color that's closer to my W3 Consulting green. I forget the actual hex code number. But either way, so say that I chose a color like that. I'm going to go back to the default one here. You can pick theme colors, but you can see you pick kind of a primary color, and then it picks the secondary color based on that. So you really can't fully control your branding yet. Either way, I click done. And now what Chrome does is, hold on, I'm going to reshare this. Chrome does is it opens up this screen. So you can see that Chrome has colored it based on the theme. So you can see up here, your browser window is designed around the color that you chose for the profile, and it walks you through this process. Now, if you're already a Chrome user, what that means is that you already have a Google Chrome account or a Google account that's been connected to another Chrome for synchronization purposes. You can just click on that sign in and go ahead through the process of synchronizing with the browser. If you are not, then you'll just follow the Get Started button here, and it'll tell you, hey, what are your various apps that you use within Google? And since we're focused on Google Workspace or the business focus pieces here, you would just choose the ones that are focused on your business. And so you would say, okay, Gmail, YouTube, Maps, or otherwise. You'll then click Next. You can see here that those are the shortcuts that they created up here in the toolbar, and we can choose a background, right? So I can choose a background here, or I can go ahead and skip this if I just want it to stay a particular piece. I'm going to choose landscape just for the fun of it. Then I'm going to be taken to our synchronization piece. At this point, what it's saying is here that if you sign in, you will end up turning on your bookmarks, passwords, and other data around your particular business so that you're able to have this synchronized to anywhere else you install Chrome and log into the same account, which is really powerful because now you're capable of having your bookmarks and passwords available to you everywhere you might go. And that includes also payment data, and this is all done securely and managed securely by Google for you. So if we click continue from here, then it will take you to this login page where you'll then be able to go ahead and log in. So you enter your password, username and password, and then automatically Google will go ahead and do that synchronization. I'm not going to do that here today, but if you get to this screen, you just put in your email address for your Google Workspace account or your consumer-based Google account that you use, and then your password. It may ask you for a second factor, a second factor authentication piece, and then you will go ahead and put that in as well, and then it will go ahead and authenticate you into the system and synchronize all of your bookmarks, your preferences, and otherwise from any other Google Chrome that you might be using. So very, very powerful. Now, if you happen to be in the US, but you use a different language, you can go ahead and choose a different language at this point for Google Chrome in this screen, and then it will pick up on that particular language and follow through going forward. Okay, so that's installing and connecting your Google Workspace account and the power of profiles. Now, once you create a profile, when you click on this link here, you will see that there are other profiles that you can now select among, and you can go ahead and choose other profiles, meaning that, again, these are completely walled off gardens. One Chrome profile sits and operates within Google Chrome as its own island unto itself. So each Chrome instance can have its own bookmarks, its own passwords, its own security provisioning. All of those things are separated, which is what I love about it now, because now I can have a business-focused Chrome open that is one color, and then a personal Chrome window open that's completely personal, and the two never shall meet in any way, shape, or form regarding each other, right? They're just completely separated browsing experiences. Okay, so once we have, of course, gone ahead and set up our Chrome sync, we are now in basically Google Chrome. We're in the environment. And you can see here, if I click on the little apps button in the top left-hand corner, this is our bookmarks bar. Above that is our navigation bar. And then above that is our tabs, or are our tabs for navigating. Google Chrome is tab-based browsing in the sense that this is a window, but the window has a tab. And if I wanted to open up another website, I could click on that and it would create another tab, and I can keep doing that, creating new tabs as I go. Okay, and so you can have really unlimited number of tabs. I don't suggest it because it does take up additional resources every time you open up another tab, but you do have the ability to do tabs. Now, when I do create tabs in the system, say that I create just a few more tabs, and also note that Control-T or Command-T on the Mac will create new tabs if you have the browser window active. So I'm just holding down Control and tapping T, again Command-T on the Mac, and you can see that I've created multiple new tabs in the browser. Well, guess what? If I wanted to be able to collect these different tabs together in a group, I can do so. What I'm doing is I'm holding down the Shift key and I select my first tab, right? You can see that it's highlighted. See, the other ones are the dark red. This one is the light red. If I click and hold down that first tab, then I hold down the Shift key, and then I click on the last tab that I want to group together. I have now, you can see they're all now that brighter red color. Okay, so they're all now selected. When I right click on the tabs, now it gives me a drop down menu, right? Right click or two finger click on the touchpad. You're going to now get an option for doing some things. The thing that I want to do is I want to create a new tab group. And so this says add tabs to new group. I'm going to click on new group. And you can see here now this new group tab opens up, and I can title this, and I can say tab group 1. I can give it a color, and so I can say this is going to be green, and I can go ahead and do a number of different things. I can move the group to a new window, I can close the group, I can ungroup them otherwise, but I created it for a reason, and so I can click tab group. Now you can see that this group of tabs is collected. See this line, this green line? This collects all of these tabs together, and at any time I can just basically click on that tab group, and you see how it just like closes up underneath? So it like collapses them into a space, and they're all now still there. They're just sitting in the background, and it gives me more real estate to be able to create more tabs. So I can create more tabs. Again, Control-T, Command-T. I can create a tab group number 2. Following the same process, just selecting all of them, adding groups, and then going ahead and once I hit the add new group, and I can say tab group 2. Now think about this. You might have a series of tabs that you want to have open that are designed around accounting and finance. You might have some tabs that are open for marketing, and some other tabs that are focused on your particular core area of business, where you maybe have a couple of windows open that are web applications for those things. You can now group those tabs together so that they're always bound together and kept together for purposes of what you're working on. Or maybe you're working on a particular project for a client. You can create a tab group for each client, and now those tabs are grouped together for those purposes. Now, you can see that I collapsed them, and when I'm ready to open them up again, I just tap on the name of it, and they open up again for me to be able to view. So very, very powerful for me being able to go back and forth between seeing a tab group and closing them up. So that's tab management really in the Google Chrome browser environment. If I want to close a tab at any time, I can go ahead and just click on the X on that tab, and it'll go ahead and close it. Now, of course, the name of the tab comes from wherever I'm browsing, right? So this says new tab because that's where I'm at. But if I click on YouTube, you'll see that it pulls the name from the website that I'm visiting, and that will be the name that appears in that particular tab, right? So we can open new tabs, close them, and otherwise. Now, if at any point in time, say that I just closed YouTube and I really didn't want to, if I click on the 3 dots icon here, and I told you earlier, see this says update here? It normally wouldn't say that unless you have an update to run, but since I'm presenting, I am not going to run an update while we're presenting in Google Chrome, but you will see here the 3 dots icon. If you click on that 3 dots icon, you will see under here history, and in history you will then be able to go ahead and see what you recently closed. And when you do recently close, you can actually just use the keyboard shortcut Control-Shift-T, and Control-Shift-T will go ahead and pop open what you just recently closed. So I'm going to do that right now, Control-Shift-T, and it'll reopen YouTube. It doesn't stop there though. Say that if I had 5 other tabs that I had recently closed. I can now go Control-Shift-T, 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 and it'll keep opening those prior website windows that I had open. Okay, so it's really powerful because sometimes like you close a bunch of windows one after the other, and then you're like, oops, I didn't mean to do that. Control-Shift-T, and you can reopen those tabs backwards in order in which you went ahead and did that. Now, I'm going to go ahead and close this group tab, and that's just basically going to close all of the tabs within that group altogether. Super cool. Okay. Next up is the address bar. Now, in the navigation bar, we have the ability to navigate Chrome. All kinds of fun stuff here. One is, of course, we have the back button, the forward button, typical of any browser that you've been using since the 90s, and then, of course, the reload button, which is sometimes called refresh, but it'll basically reload the current page. Quick tip, if you hold down Shift and then click this button, it will actually purge the temporary file system for that page and will reload all of the content over again. So if you ever get to a page and it's like looking kind of crummy, if you hold down Shift and hit that button, you may actually clear up whatever the content problem is that you're having with that particular system. Now, where you see Chrome here is actually what we call the site information window. If we click on this particular window, you will see that it says you are viewing a secure Google Chrome page. Now, if I do this on a page that's like live on the web, like YouTube again, you'll see that there's a lock icon now in place of that site information Google Chrome item here. So see how it says Chrome here? Here it says the lock icon, or it displays the little lock icon. When I click on that, it gives me more information about this page. And it's really important that we know that this page is secure and that we're transiting this page securely for not just privacy, but also security of passwords and credit card numbers and otherwise that might be stored inside of Google Chrome. So here what we have is the like icon. It says connection is secure. We can now feel secure about navigating this particular page. If you want to know more about this page, you can actually click on these underlying pieces that tell you a little bit more about the site, what kind of cookies, what kind of certificates it's running for purposes of the site. So very, very powerful to know that you're on a secure page and navigating in that sense. Now, next is the Omnibar. The Omnibar is the place in Google Chrome where we're able to navigate Chrome in all kinds of cool ways. Okay, so of course I can just type in an address. So for example, I can type in W3 Consulting, and that will take us to the W3 Consulting website. Voila, I can go to any web page on the web just by typing in the website address. I can navigate, of course, the system in all kinds of other ways within Chrome, and Chrome gives me those capabilities. Where we just were, which was the apps page for Chrome, we got to from clicking on the bookmarks bar right here, show apps, right? But this is actually a Chrome URL. And what I mean by that is that Chrome has coded based on Chromium, these different URLs that are really useful. So if I type in chrome://app, it will take me to the apps. Sorry, it's an S at the end there. Let's try that again. If I type in chrome://apps, it will take me back to my apps page. Okay, and more powerfully than that, if I want to go to my settings page, I can go to chrome://settings, and it will take me to my settings page. And so Chrome has all of these really great places that you can go. You should know apps, settings, and extensions. So if we type in extensions, you can see that it kind of starts to fill it in for you once you start typing it. Now we're taken to our Chrome extensions, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit as well. So chrome://apps, settings, extensions, must know for being able to navigate your Omnibar really quickly without having to like plunk around in buttons and find things, especially if your fingers are already on the keyboard. So the Omnibar also is connected to Google Search. So it allows you to be able to navigate the web if you know the website URL or URI. It can allow you to navigate Chrome to different portions of the Google Chrome experience. It can allow you to search anything. And you can see here, once I've typed in this bar and nothing's here, it shows me this Google icon. That's because Google is set as the default search engine for Google Chrome. You can change that, and we'll show you a little bit how you do that. But it's set for Google Chrome here. And so if I wanted to type in something like W3 Consulting because I wanted to find the company, I could go ahead and do that. And you can see here it's executed a Google search, and it's gone ahead and found the company here. And voila, there we are. Okay, so we have the company. It's given me the information, and I can navigate all the various channels within Google Search to be able to find more information about my search. So we can navigate the web. We can navigate Google Chrome, and we can search directly inside of Chrome. More powerfully than that, though, Google Chrome gives us something called Chrome Actions. Chrome Actions are our ability to be able to do quick actions that we might want to do in Google Chrome. So for example, if I wanted to clear the cache is temporary browsing data that is held by the browser in order to make our experience faster, right? Things like remembering files that we downloaded, so when we go back to that page, it'll just pull those images from the local temporary file storage to make it faster experience for us. Well, if I just type in clear cache, you can see here now it gives me the option for a little chip that says clear browsing data. And if I click on that, it gives me the clear browsing data window for me to be able to go ahead and clear my browsing history, my cookies, and my cache. Super cool. Okay, and you can see here there's a Chrome //settings / clear browser data URL or URI that you can memorize, but it's actually just easier to type in clear cache. You can also do this for delete history, so I can type in delete. And again, it gives me the clear browsing option. I can type in update browser. Right? And you can see here the chip then displays an update Chrome option, right, from the Chrome settings. We can do this for incognito, like if I wanted to create an incognito window. I'm actually inside of an incognito window right now, I believe. So it says open incognito window, which is basically a private browsing window. We can do updating of credit card information just by typing in update credit card. We can do edit passwords, and that'll take us to the edit passwords window, and so we can manage our passwords from that place. And we can also do translate this. So for example, say that I'm on a page like google.es, which is Google's Spanish language search, and it's of course still put everything in English for me here because it knows I'm in the United States, but let's say I put in something like what's his name, Pablo Picasso, right? And this search is done in English, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and switch this into Spanish. I'm trying to think of a place where I will undoubtedly find oh, actually, let's just do this. Let's go to France 24. Okay, so this is a French news station, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose this station, and I'm going to navigate to the French side of it so that I see the French data. Okay, so let's go here, and then I go to, where is their French? It's showing everything here in English still for me, and so let's go to this. Let's see if this is in French. No, still in English. Shoot. I thought I had the thing set up to go ahead and take us to that Spanish side by going to google.es. This, I think, is automatically translating, actually. Either way, my point behind this is that you can actually, if you're ever on a page and it is in a language that you don't understand, you could just type in translate this into the bar, and see how it says translate page? Just click on translate page, and it will automatically pull up Google Translate and start to translate the page for you so that you can read it. Super, super powerful, because now you're not locked into just what is English-speaking language websites. You can read websites in any part of the world. Okay, so very, very powerful for being able to do market research and other kinds of things, outside of your own native language. So very, very cool there. Okay, so that's Chrome Actions. That is the address bar, and that brings us along to our settings. And so we're technically already in settings, but if we go to Chrome / settings, or we click on the three dots icon and then down to more tools, down to settings, we are taken to this page, which is of course our Google settings. Here in settings is really the command center for everything that is Google Chrome. When we originally signed up and synchronized with our Google Chrome account, with our Google Workspace account, we in essence were taken to this portion of the page, and you can see up here it says you and Google. This is all about where your different services are synchronized with Google. So if you click in here, you will see that you can turn on and off different kinds of synchronization features, and there's just so many options that are available in here. But just generally, what you do have available to you is your Google account and your connection to Google account, anything that is autofill, autofill. Autofill includes passwords, payments, addresses, and any other kinds of things that you might put into Google on a regular basis. It remembers those things and can re-add them for you as needed. Then you have something called Safety Check. Safety Check is a fairly new feature inside of Chrome. It's something that you've had for a long time inside of your Google account. And what it allows you to do is to make sure that you are not included in any data breaches, or email addresses or passwords haven't been included in any data breaches, or if you have installed any extensions, and we'll talk about that in a bit, extensions that may be dangerous to your business. So click on the check now, and it'll basically search across your email address and password to make sure that you are safe. If you're not, then it notifies you and it asks you to change your password or update your information in order to make you more secure, which is just really useful. We then have a privacy and security setting section, which allows you to be able to check your various privacy settings to make your browsing more secure. I'm just going to point out here, if you click on security, you see that you have a couple of options for the different types of security. Google immediately sets you by default into standard protection, which in essence, it monitors the websites that you visit or that are indexed by Google, that is. And when you visit them, if they think it's dangerous, they're going to tell you not to visit that page for that purpose. And it'll check whether or not that website's doing anything not good and is trying to steal something from you, and will notify you about those things as well. If you don't want that, you can of course click no protection, and then Google won't notify you about anything regarding downloading files or anything like that. I don't suggest that. I really do suggest you keep the standard protection on. If you are in a situation where you feel like you are being targeted, you can turn on enhanced protection. This is a very invasive protection feature. You will break a lot of websites. You will be given lots of warnings and get lots of information poured at you if you turn on enhanced protection. But if you do feel like you are in a position where you need to be more protected, you can go ahead and utilize the enhanced protection for that purpose. You can also do this in Gmail. You can turn on enhanced protection inside of Gmail, and it will disconnect any connected services and lock you down and force you to use a physical key fob in order to be able to log into your Gmail account, which makes it very secure but also very restrictive. So I like standard protection for Google Chrome, and it does most of the things we need it to do. We then can go to Appearance. And when we are in Appearance, it gives us all of the abilities to go ahead and manage how Google Chrome looks. As you can see right now, we have been actually navigating inside of dark theme because my operating system is set to dark theme. But if we click on theme here out to Google Chrome to the web store, you can see under themes, you can actually install all kinds of other themes directly from Google and other artists. And so you can see all kinds of fun themes that you can install and otherwise. And if you open up a new tab in default Chrome and you're taken to this this immediate window, if you go down here to the bottom right hand corner, you will see this little customized page pencil icon. If you click on that, that actually pops up the customized page feature for the new tab. So you can not only change your theme, basically everything that's here, that you see in terms of color and design, right? We can choose black, we can choose all kinds of colors that we chose when we created our profile, but you can actually change this new tab to be something else as well. So I can say here, you know what, I want to basically use, this is the arches, the landscapes, and I want to go ahead and say refresh daily. And so every day I want you to change this new screen, this new window, new tab window screen to that. For shortcuts, you can see here that there's different types of designs. So you can say, I want my shortcuts to show here, or I want my most visited sites to show here, or I want you to hide the shortcuts altogether. I don't want you to display the shortcuts at all. And then, of course, we have color and theme, and this was the color and theme we chose when we set up our Google Chrome profile. Now, when I click Done, you can see here that since I chose the landscapes item, when it changes tomorrow, presumably, let's see, I chose landscapes. Yeah, there it is. So you can see I changed it. So it changed to this landscape, and every day it's going to change to a different image. And that's kind of nice. You can do whatever you want there. So just remember, you open up a new tab and then come down here to the customize this page pencil icon in order to change your new tab space that is outside of the space of your normal Chrome settings for your browsing experience. Okay, so next up we're going to talk, so you have some, all kinds of fun stuff when it comes to appearance. Then you can go ahead and change your search engine. And your search engine here is where before when I clicked up here, right, and if I just delete this, it automatically defaults to Google. If I type anything in, it's going to search Google. Well, I can go in here and I can select other search engines, and I can even add other search engines from the Manage Search Engines field. So if I want to change this to Bing or to DuckDuckGo or something else, it can go ahead and do that. It's telling me right now Google Chrome is my default browser. If it was not my default browser, this is where I would have the option to go ahead and change that. Also, on startup, it tells me, what do you want to do? Do you want to open up a new tab? Do you want to continue where you left off? Basically opening up all the tabs that you had open when you closed it. Or do you want to open up to a specific page and say, I want to say, when I open up, I want you to take me to, say, france24.com, right? And so that anytime I open up a new tab, now when I open up the browser on startup, it's going to go ahead and take me to the France24 website. Okay, so you have some choices there when it comes to what happens when the browser starts up. Now, in addition, we also have advanced options, and these are lots of really cool things around advanced startups. So for example, if you wanted to be able to change where your downloads go. So when you download something from the web, you can change the folder in which it goes to, and that's really helpful as well. So lots of settings, lots of cool stuff. And from a business perspective, I actually think that everybody should go in and think about, and this is only if you're comfortable with it, setting up your payment methods. So say, for example, you are sharing a credit card or you have issued credit cards to your staff. Well, you would go in here and have your staff add their payment methods to here and then give them their credit card numbers, and you can actually add those credit card numbers to Google, and now Google is managing the safe transmission of that content to the browser whenever they're making payments. So you get to kind of control the way in which they are inputting that data so that they're not constantly inputting the wrong data, but they're also using the right cards inside of the Chrome browser. So you have some flexibility with how you can manage your employees and payment data, password sharing, and all kinds of other things here in the system. So payments as well as passwords can be managed in the system as well. So that can be really useful for those kinds of situations. All right, so those are the settings in the system. We've talked about profile sync and incognito. We've talked about passwords. So that leaves us to bookmarks and extensions. And so in Google Chrome, we actually have the ability to manage our bookmarks using the Bookmarks Manager. And you can see here, when I go to the three dots icon down to bookmarks, we can get to the Bookmarks Manager by using Control-Shift-O on Windows, Command-Shift-O on the Mac, and that takes us over to the bookmarks. So in essence, anytime I create a bookmark, let's just go to France24 for the fun of it again, and if I see this little star in the Omnibar, it says bookmark this tab. I can also use Control-D or Command-D in order to trigger that by keyboard. But if I click on bookmark this, you can see it gives me two options: add a bookmark and a fairly new feature called reading list. And so this is for articles you might want to read later. It gives you an option to be able to go ahead and do that. I just want to add a bookmark. So I click bookmark. It gives me an opportunity to go ahead and name my bookmark. And you can see that it adds it to the folder Bookmarks bar. I can create as many new folders as I want in the Bookmarks Manager and or leave it standard to the two folders that are default, which is Bookmarks bar and other bookmarks. I'm going to leave it for standard right now and click on done. If I go back to bookmarks, you can see now here, France24 is listed here as one of my bookmarks, and I can click on it and drag it and move it around in this field, and that of course then moves it up here. But I also actually have the power to move it up here as well, and so I can move it to its location that I want it to be in so that it's easily accessible from the bookmarks bar. I do have the ability to turn on and off this bookmarks bar just by right-clicking or double-clicking, two-finger clicking on the bookmarks bar. It does give me the option to be able to uncheck the bookmarks. There's a keyboard shortcut for this as well, and then it will disappear and give me more screen real estate. So if it's like taking up too much space, you can go ahead and remove it, and you can always click on the three dots icon, bookmarks, and then show bookmarks bar or Control-Shift-B, Command-Shift-B on the Mac to be able to return it to its place. Like I said, you can create more bookmarks and bookmark folders and manage all of your bookmarks here. And again, if you have Chrome Sync on, then your Google Workspace account or Google account is now synchronizing your browser tab, your browser bookmarks with all of your other browser instances of Chrome, wherever they might be on any number of computers. So super helpful there. Okay, So that's bookmarks. That is handling bookmarks. And so let's hop on over to a new window where we now extend Chrome beyond its native functions. And that helps us as businesses be more productive. And so what I'm going to do now here is walk you through how you extend the features of the Chrome browser and do more in that sense. And we do that through the concept of the Chrome Web Store. The Chrome Web Store is a place where we can install all kinds of things. I showed you themes that you could install before, but what we're really doing is we're actually managing extensions to be able to add additional functionality to Google Chrome. If Google Chrome can't do it, there is likely a Google Chrome extension. I said before, there's about 137,000, 140,000 extensions in the Google Chrome store. And so this gives greater power to us extending the capabilities of Google Chrome. And so these are the top picks that have been curated for extensions. Just some really fun, interesting things like Kami allows you to be able to annotate documents in Google Chrome. You have Microsoft Office, Nimbus, which is basically a note-taking application that's really powerful. Speed tests, if you wanted to test the speed of your browsing experience right now. All kinds of fun things can be in here. So I'm going to run through very quickly some extensions that I like that may be helpful to you in your business. So number one are actually two different browser extensions that allow you to manage that new tab screen. So you saw when I hit a new tab, it opened up that screen and it had that particular image, and I changed it to the landscapes theme image, so it changes the different landscapes every day. Momentum is a extension that allows you to be able to install this new tab function, and whenever you open up a new tab, it basically shows you this like beautiful image with the time, and you can put special messages in here and just some other really cool inspirational stuff that you can do. If you'd like to be able to do a little bit more, there is this one that's called Purpose Tab. So Momentum or momentum-.com to Purpose Tab. Purpose Tab allows you to be able to create kind of a mini daily checklist and habit management tool here so that you can go ahead and visualize your tasks in the new tab bar. So every time you open up a new tab, you can go ahead and do that. There's even a note-taking functionality in here. Really interesting usage of the new tab screen within Google Chrome. So you can manage your tasks and whatnot directly there. Next is Nira. Nira used to be called FYI or Use FYI, and Nira is super cool. So what you do is you add this to Chrome, and then you can connect all kinds of web tools, whether that be Google Drive, Dropbox, Slack, Gmail, Evernote, OneDrive, Box, Confluence, you name it. You connect to all of those different tools, and then when you open up a new tab, Nira actually takes over that tab and gives you a search field, and you can search for your documents. And when you search for any document, any email, whatever, you click on it, it opens up in a new tab or in that particular tab, and you're right inside the document or right inside that email. Super, super fast and quick. I use it all the time. It's so helpful. It's not the perfect search, but it's really good for being able to get to things fast. There's been a long-standing request for them not to open up a new tab, but basically, because it takes over the new tab function, for it to like open up in a new like window or a pop-up or something like that. But right now, it does take over a new tab, and so that's just what it does. But it's very, very helpful, and I use it every day. Next up is Just Read, and this is for reading content. So you can, in essence, install Just Read into your Google Chrome browser, and what will happen is when you click on the Just Read button, it will just turn off all of the stuff, all of the images and stuff around the text, and makes it just really easy for you to be able to read whatever you're trying to read. So if you're trying to read a blog post or an article on a news site, you just click on Just Read, and it just makes it all very readable for you, so you can just focus on the text of the content. By the way, I didn't say this, but anytime you're looking at an extension within the Google Chrome Web Store, inside of extensions, you'll see an Add to Chrome button, and that'll allow you to just go ahead and click on Add to Chrome, and it'll go ahead and automatically download and install it and make it ready and active for use for you inside of Google Chrome. This one is a little bit different in the sense that this actually gets rid of things inside of the news feed for social media. So you can choose your social network of choice, basically Facebook, Twitter, and others. And it says it currently supports Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, Y Combinator, Reddit, and GitHub. And so you install this, and you can just decide to get rid of the feed, right? Because it's just so distracting. You can block it for some period of time. You can make it show quotes. And it's just kind of a nice focusing tool that if you want to be productive during the day and you just don't want to see all of the, politics and whatever else, you can mute it inside the browser. Next is Bitwarden. If you don't like the password manager in Google Chrome, because quite honestly, it's a little bit limiting in the sense that, especially if you use Chrome and Safari or Chrome and Firefox, you're not going to be able to manage your passwords across the different browsers because they're not synchronizing. With Bitwarden, you can actually install this into Google Chrome, and for free, it will go ahead and manage your passwords for you. It's highly secure, it's open source, and you now have the ability to install this Chrome extension in Safari, Firefox, Chrome, your mobile devices, any number of devices that you want, and now your passwords are available to you on all of those devices using that tool. It'll even generate safe passwords, secure passwords, long random passwords for you in your system. Then we get to, and by the way, I use Lastpass, and the only reason why I recommended Bitwarden is because it's free, but do know that if you are going to use a business and have a team of people utilizing passwords, I would use Lastpass because I think it's great. Then we have Diigo. Diigo is one tool which allows you to basically, it's like, how do you highlight and annotate the web? Diigo is one of those ways. It's been around a long time, and it gives you the capability of being able to annotate websites, and it collects it all into an interface that you can then manage. With that said, I actually use a tool called Hypothesis, which is I just think brilliant. So Hypothesis is like Diigo, except it takes all of your text annotations and it allows you to annotate those inline inside of a website. So Diigo kind of does that, but it just does it in a way that I don't like. And so I've used Hypothesis for quite some time, and I've actually implemented it because it has a WordPress extension that allows you to add Hypothesis to your own website for those purposes. So showing an example, if you're on W3 Consulting's blog, if you just go to our blog, you will see that we have implemented Hypothesis, and you can see that because you see these two little icons here. That's the Hypothesis icons that have been installed on the browser, so inside of our website. So when you go ahead and highlight something, you will see that you now automatically get an annotate and highlight functionality because of the website, not because of your browser. So we've installed this directly, the code directly into our browser, and when I click on highlight, it's going to go ahead and highlight this content and allow me to be able to, it's going to ask me to log in first, right? And then it's going to highlight it, and now it's going to highlight that text. I can also highlight text and leave a comment. I can annotate, and it becomes this commented content directly here on the browser. And if anybody else comes back to the page, they will actually also see that commenting alongside the content. So I like Hypothesis for that reason, and so you can install it in the browser for purposes of when you're navigating the web, but you can also install it if you have a WordPress website easily using the Hypothesis browser plugin to be able to do that as well. All right, we've got just a few more items, and then we will go into Q&A and close out. Sorry, we started a little bit late, so we're going to end a little bit late, but we'll get through this pretty quickly. This next one is the Fair Ad Blocker, and I'm not against advertising. I think that it's a great way for people to access content without having to pay for it, and if people can't afford content, that doesn't mean they should be limited to information, and so advertising gives us that capability. But there are abusers of ads, and there are many places where just ads are shown way too much, way too often. And so Fair Ad Blocker is kind of a middle ground for me. What it allows you to do is to add this to your Google Chrome browser, and Fair Ad Blocker, in essence, blocks elements from loading and all kinds of aggressive ads and tracking that might be happening. And it tells you what's been tracked and blocked and so on and so forth. So you can go ahead and decide whether or not you do want to see those ads and support those businesses or otherwise. So it'll show some ads and it may block some ads, but it tries to do it in a fair manner, which I really like. Next up is continuing in, I should have put this with the Just Read Chrome extension, but Pericles is super cool. So what Pericles does is it turns text to speech for listening purposes. So when you go to a browser page and you see like a 3,000 word post and you think, okay, gosh, I have to read this, but I really don't want to, like read it on screen, you can actually just click on the Pericles text-to-speech screen reader extension, and it will convert it into audio and read it to you. It's free, it's easy, and it just allows this accessibility for you to be able to listen to it, especially for those who might be visually impaired or temporarily visually impaired. Say that you had eye surgery or you just got your eyes dilated by the optometrist. Well, now you can just use Pericles and listen to web pages. I love Pericles and I use it all the time because it's not only that you can turn it text to speech, but you can actually also set the speed of the text to speech. So you can say, I want this to be in 2x speed, so it reads it to you really quickly, so you can actually go through things faster. Those are the extensions. And so this leads us to any issues you might have with regard to troubleshooting in the Google Chrome space. And I went to the wrong URL here. So I'm going to go back here and we're going to go to support.google.com. And so just like thinking through when you are in, oh no, I have one more extension. Oh, so one more extension before we do. So this is actually Vimeo Record, and Vimeo has recently published a screen recording tool. If anybody knows Loom, this is similar to Loom, but if you already use Vimeo for your video hosting, this is really cool. So what they do is you install this Chrome extension, and then you're able to put a little video of yourself on screen or not. You can keep yourself off or not, but you are on screen. You can record your screen, and it automatically records and uploads to your Vimeo account. So you are actually capable of going ahead and creating new videos very quickly. I'm using this all the time now to show my staff or clients how to do something when they get confused. I just pull up Vimeo Record, I record it, it uploads it to Vimeo automatically, and then I get a link that I can share to them quickly and easily. So just very, very powerful. If you don't have Vimeo as your hosting, then you can use something like Loom, which allows you to do it to a free extent for those purposes. Moving right along, as I said before, I didn't really focus on this, but Google Chrome does come in an Android and iOS and iPadOS flavor, and so you can install this, and it has a lot of the features we talked about. May not have all of the features that you talked about when it comes to browsing on the web, but Google Chrome does come with Android and then also an iOS and iPadOS version for being able to browse. And so just know you can install it, and then you can synchronize from Chrome Sync to your Chrome browser on your phone as well, and tablets. Now, this takes us to my final point, which is that, as I said at the beginning, I'm one of the Google Chrome product experts. So if you ever run into an issue, you go to support.google.com and you'll be taken here to this page. And when you click on Google Chrome to get help, you'll be taken to the Google Chrome area where you can go ahead and get help for this stuff. Now, you can see here that it took us to Google Workspace. I'm not quite sure why it's doing that, but if I click on Community, you will see here that we are in the community side of Google Help. And when we do that, we can then scroll to the bottom of this page here, and you will see these various categories of things, right? I don't really know why it keeps taking us to Google Workspace. This should be taking us to Google Chrome when we go to Google Chrome. That's very strange. You'll see that, right? I clicked on Google Chrome and it took me to Google Workspace. I'm going to click on Google Chrome here. Oh, okay, good. All right. No, still again, it took me to this weird space. I'll talk to Google about this. But either way, we should be taken to the Google Chrome space. And just let's pretend that this will be the same thing. It'll say Google Chrome here. And when you go down here, you'll see various issues that are happening. But if you come into contact with a problem and it's not solved in one of these posts, see it says not what you're looking for, try asking the help community. Click on Ask Now. and it will open up this form, and you can actually give a subject, write the details of what you're experiencing in Google Chrome, and a Google Chrome product expert, a volunteer like myself, will be able to step in and try and provide you some assistance. So it's very, very helpful for being able to do that and to get you some help when it comes to dealing with some of these, kind of edge cases when it comes to Google Chrome. So, Google Chrome is not without problems. And so if you do run into an issue, you can go ahead and do that. All right, we have hit the top of our time together today. I'm happy to answer questions. Does anybody have any questions for me before we wrap up? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually show my final slide, and you folks can put questions into the Q&A panel while I close us out. And so thank you, everybody, for joining today's webinar. This has been a lot of fun talking about a product that I really love, which is Google Chrome, and how you can really utilize it in your small business for greater productivity. You can follow us on any of the socials. You can see those all on screen there. We're typically at W3, the number 3 consulting on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. You can add the Inc for Facebook. You can email me if you have any questions after the fact with my email address on the slide there, and I will send you a link to the slides and after the fact, so you'll get a link to the recording and the slides to be able to listen and watch back to this. I do a podcast called Web and Beyond Cast, and a live stream every Monday at 11 a.m. I do a live stream called Web and Beyond Live, where I talk about digital marketing news, and so feel free to join me there for that. And with that, let me circle back to some questions that I'm seeing in the Q&A panel. And again, to answer the questions, I see a bunch of questions about the slides. Those will be shared with you when I send the video recording link. So those have a whole bunch of stuff in there for you to be able to access. Web and Beyond Live, to answer that question, Web and Beyond Live, I publish on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter live. So they go live on all 3 platforms. I would recommend that you just go to webandbeyondlive.com, and you'll see a button that says Watch Now or Watch Live. If you click on that button, it'll take you to our YouTube page where you can see the next one. And if you click on the subscribe or the reminder button, it'll notify you when we go live again. And you're more than welcome to join me each Monday when I do that. Okay, back on to Google Chrome. The Google address bar, there's a question about getting to the Google address bar. So the keyboard shortcut for the Google address bar is Control L or Command L, and that will typically take you up to the bar. In some places, the / will automatically take you to the Google address bar. So if you're ever trying to get to the search field or up to that Google address bar, the Omnibar like I call it, Control L or Command L on the Mac. I think sometimes the / will get you there, but maybe that just takes you there as well. Okay, so there's a question about searching in Google Chrome. If you're ever inside of a web page, you can just use Control or Command F, Control F or Command F, and that will open up the search window for being able to search a specific page that you were on when you were in Google Chrome. Great question. Yeah, Control F or Command F. You can also go up to the top right-hand corner, click on the 3 dots icon, and then you'll see a search, a find option to be able to launch search there as well. I think I covered this question, but you're asking about Incognito. In order to go into Incognito, you can use Control-Shift-N or Shift-Command-N on the Mac, or again, go to the 3 dots icon and then a new Incognito window. And the question is about privacy. So don't think of Incognito windows as being all that private. Remember that you are being tracked by Google, by the website that is seeing you access their site. Your internet service provider, your ISP, is also seeing that data. It's not necessarily being transited always over DOH, which is DNS over HTTPS. So it's not all secure, but it's secure in the sense that whatever you browse at that moment will be purged from your temporary file storage when you close that Incognito window. So if you open up an Incognito window, for example, and you logged into Google, and then you opened up another Incognito window in the same Chrome profile, those 2 sessions would see each other. because they're inside the same quote unquote sandbox. So you'd be able to go ahead and navigate to, say, Gmail or YouTube and be logged in if you had two incognito windows open because they are inside the same session. When you close those two incognito windows, you'd be automatically logged out because the cookie as well as the cache files would be purged at that time. And so that's what they mean really by private browsing, is that none of those things are being kept on that local machine. But don't think of it as being like nobody can see what you did, because that's not true, right? So I don't recommend committing any crimes, but I wouldn't commit any crimes using incognito window. That's not how you do it. Okay. I think that's all the questions. I thank everybody for staying around for the delayed start as well as the delayed finish because of that. Thank you all for joining us here for this Web and Beyond webinar for getting started with Google Chrome for small business. I'm Ray Sidney Smith on behalf of W3 Consulting and W3C Web Services. Take care, everybody.